So what's next on our show?
Are you bloodworthy?
I'm bloodworthy.
I'm bloodworthy.
Find out what that means next on Nerdynomicon.
Do 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 do.
This is the Nerdynomicon. I'm Robbie.
Ooh, I am sometimes Brooke, but today I am not Brooke.
What are you today?
Brooke.
Like spelled differently?
Yes, Noe.
Noe. Oh, okay. Brooke without the E.
I'm still on cough medicine, so excuse me.
Yeah, you're a little bit loopy.
You're loopy.
So, back around Halloween, you know how much of a fan I am of the No Sleep podcast.
Sure.
While I was listening to that and David Cummings was talking about a new podcast that was coming out, it sounded really cool. It's called Darkest Night.
Ooh.
So checked it out. Checked
Yeah.
out a couple of episodes. Yeah. The second episode scared the shit out of me. We
Yeah,
talked about
yeah,
that with
yeah, we did.
MJ. I reached out to the guys at Darkest Night to see if they wanted to read from the Nerdynomicon with us.
Did they?
Well, one person in particular definitely did. Christopher Bloodworth.
Yay!
And we've got him here tonight. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you? How's
Not
it
too
going,
bad.
Robbie and Brooke without an E?
Just today. Usually there is an E. Today there's no E. I lost it. The battle with the cold.
Battle with the Cold took your E.
They took my E.
So before we dive into like the secret origin story, man, Darkest Night,
Amazing.
it's absolutely
Amazing.
fantastic.
Like,
this is one of the scariest projects I've heard in a while.
Thanks.
Dennis O'Hare as well.
Listen, RuPaul is better, but Dennis O'Hare is amazing. Like,
Well, considering how much we've been talking about American Horror Story, we can't
We've
not
talked
bring
a
up
lot
Dennis
about,
O'Hare.
yeah, we do, because he's
I'm
amazing.
sure our audience is sick to death of us talking about Ryan Murphy. And frankly,
Well, I love Ryan Murphy.
I love Kevin Smith, but I've been cutting down the Kevin Smith talk.
Well, that's because he asked you. He sent you that letter.
Yeah, the cease and desist.
There has been a lot of Ryan Murphy talk. I hear that you really, really like his subtlety.
Well, I love that. You know, when I think of Ryan Murphy, I think of a few words: subtlety, metaphor. Really like
Loud fucking drumline band.
illusion. It's just I like how in Ryan Murphy's world, he's very subtle.
Uh-huh.
You know, he very, red could mean death or love, but it's a very subtle. And by subtle, I mean not subtle. I mean, oh my God. Dude, like I get it. I get that you feel alienated. Like you taught me that the first 37 times you showed me.
Right.
Look, I love you. If Ryan Murphy is out there and he's like listening, which he probably isn't, but if he is, I love you. Like if you want to call me and I'd be on one of your shows, I would do it. But dude, seriously, like cut it back. Like, this season of American Horror Story, magnificent. Do eat that more. But everything
More of
else,
that, less of everything else.
I get that you saw The Shining and The Hunger on the same weekend and like probably wrote the script for The Hotel based on that, but it's okay. You didn't have to like throw every single scene from both movies, and then also Night of the Living Dead, the Muppets Babies version.
I have a confession.
What?
I have a confession. The Witches season was my favorite. I know.
Well, you and most of
I'm
America,
aware.
though.
I'm aware of y'all's feelings on the Witches season, but that was by far my favorite one.
How is that your favorite? Because Dennis O'Hare was pretty big in it.
No, I just really liked the whole witch storyline.
Like I've said on
Excuse
air.
me, I need to do this. Ugh.
Like I've said on air, I really liked how much of the New Orleans culture and the witchcraft culture they brought
Yeah, I can
to
give you
it.
that. That's badass.
But like I've said before, I just felt like it would have worked better if it was an American Horror Story. If it was just its own
I can see
separate
that.
entity. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I can see that.
Because they had so much that I liked, but nothing that I was expecting from American Horror Story.
Well, my problem is, and I feel so terrible, but it's the actress who played Zoe and also played Violet.
Mhm.
I just couldn't get past her. Like she just didn't click to me as an actress. So to see her be the lead again, I was like, yeah, I can't do this.
And she also had like the weirdest X-Men power ever. It's like
she was,
Rogue's
like,
pussy.
Rogue turned, like horrible. It was already hard enough to be Rogue. Like at least Rogue was interesting. But the thing is, at least Anna Paquin I enjoy.
Right.
Like at least I see Anna Paquin. I'm like, I can live with being your friend. Like with her, I was like, oh my god, shut up. Also, I love Evan Peters, so to see him just be like a not speaking character, I was like, Evan, I love you, but you would not have been a good silent movie star. So just keep talking, sweetie. And he didn't.
Touche.
Keep talking, sweetie.
I didn't even think about that part.
That's
true.
He was a terrible Charlie Chaplin. just horrific. I was so upset by him. Whew, this cold medicine / alcohol is really.
So enough of the Murphy for now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's talk about you. We brought you to talk about you.
So, Darkest Night.
So good.
Episode 2 scared the shit out of me. I know that you're a writer. How much of Darkest Night do you write? How much of you do I have to curse for my nightmares?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote originally the whole thing, and I went and after I turned in all the scripts for all the episodes, I got married. While I was married,
Congratulations!
Yeah, thanks. And actually, I met my wife through my writing on a random YouTube comment. But that's another story we can go into.
Yeah, we can go into that story.
Yeah, so I went and got married, and they brought in a second writer whose name was Jimmy Giuliani, and he expanded out the original content of the lab tech scenes at the beginning and end.
Right.
So he expanded those two. Yeah, exactly. He expanded out the wraparounds from what I'd originally written, but the middle bits are all me, and then occasional lines filter through the beginning and end bits.
So you're the jerk I have to blame for Caleb.
Yeah, that would have been me.
For the record,
Lord.
That episode, I've now listened to it, and I'm not joking about this, 10 damn times. Mm-hmm. So much so that I find myself humming Caleb's Alive.
Oh, man.
I'm over there, Caleb's Alive,
searching for... Is it searching or is it looking for a mother's love?
I think he says both.
No. I did not write the song. That was
the song was great.
Research. Yeah, it fit in really well.
It did.
Yeah, he sent me back the... recording of it, because what happened was I would write the scripts, send them to him, and then it would be like a black box. I'd get back the finished product, and then we talk about stuff and whatever. But yeah, so we get to that part, and then I suddenly hear the guy I've been talking to singing, and I was like, what is this? Why is he singing? And then it really worked out really well. So I was like, okay, yeah, it works. People like it.
I think it was because of how it broke up the episode too, because I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
And then I get that, and it's just so surreal. You know what I mean?
David Lynch.
It was like that. Yes.
It was like
exactly. It was very Lynchian. Yes. Perfect analogy. And then you hit us over the head with it right there at the end. And I mean, we have a tiny baby ourselves.
We do.
He's almost 8 months. And I'm pretty sure he's the outbreak monkey.
He is the outbreak monkey. I'm always sick.
You really are. But I think that's why that episode resonated so deeply with me. It terrified me. It is by far the scariest episode so far, but also my favorite. I've listened to that episode 10 times at least.
Well, I already hated baby monitors. So.
Yeah, I know.
Baby monitors are freaky.
They really are, man.
And with the baby monitor thing, I'm sure y'all have seen some of the other creepypastas or scary stories where there'll be a ghost talking on the baby monitor or something else. So I went into it trying to beat that trope.
And I think you did a good job with that.
You did a great job.
That was the attempt, at least. So
I get that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I was impressed.
Yeah, I mean... You've heard it several times, and I still enjoy the trope, the incorporeal voice over the baby monitor, nobody's there. Trope. But you really spun it on its head, too. And in a way that I still don't know exactly what happened. There was definitely somebody there, but for how long?
Shenanigans and nonsense. Shenanigans and nonsense.
That's true.
We'll find out later in the season.
That's the new tagline for Darkest Night. Shenanigans and nonsense.
It does ensue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So how'd you get hooked up? How'd you get hooked up with Alex Aldea?
I got hooked up with Alex through.
For our
David
listeners,
Cummings.
Alex Aldea is the founder of the Paragon Collective, the group that puts out The Darkest Night.
Yep. I got hooked up with him through David Cummings, who of course does the No Sleep podcast, and he knew me from Booth World Industries and Soul Game and some other stuff that I'd written for No Sleep.
Right.
So that's how that all filtered through. He made an not an invitation. He basically set up a meeting between us two, and then we went from there.
Gotcha.
I would say David Cummings is like the Kevin Bacon of podcasting, because like everyone seems to know him.
Yep,
like every single person we talk to is like, oh yeah, I know him.
7 degrees of separation, right?
I mean, and we've had a couple of emails back and forth, because even going back to Lords of the Polygon Table, I tried to get him on last Halloween for part of our countdown to Halloween, and he was just overly booked, like crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure he's
like the
busy.
Hamilton of podcasters. You got to give him like 3 months, like 3 years
pretty
in
much.
advance.
Pretty much. That's why I tried to email him in August of this year. Still busy. Now I know why. Setting up the No Sleep tour, working with the Paragon Collective. Yeah, I get how his email is a black hole. I totally get it.
It's cool. He just doesn't like you.
He probably doesn't. Super nice guy. I just haven't had him on the show yet. It'll come.
One day.
One day.
For the stars. Shoot for the stars, husband.
Hey, David, if you're listening, invitation's still out there, man. Invitation is still out there.
I haven't invited him. I don't want to.
Nerdynomicon. Nerdynom podcast. Oh my gosh, I can't speak.
It's Nerdynomicon.
Yeah. Nerdynomicon podcast. David, book it. Let's do it. I don't know if that'll help or not.
You never know.
He's gonna call us and be like, "Stop talking about me, you weirdos," and we'll be like, "Please."
Yeah, but as long as he does it in that voice, I'd be like, "Yes, sir."
I mean, we got the real big fish on our brother podcast.
Yeah, we got real big fish.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the ska band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They did an intro. Yeah, they did an intro for them. Like, I think one of them was drunk, and
Johnny Christmas
was drunk. Of course he was. His name was Johnny Christmas.
Yeah, he gave
that guy is just not sober.
That sounds like a perpetual drunk name right there.
That guy was drunk since 12. That's why he's only like, you can't see because this is not a visual medium, but he's only this tall.
Yeah, he gave us a shout out on stage and recorded a little video bit for our Facebook. So I grabbed the audio, put it at the beginning of Couldn't Be Models.
You know, I have to say, for interviewing someone, we're talking about ourselves an awful lot.
Yes, we are. We got to stop that. Chris, tell us your secret origin.
Tell us your origins.
How did you get into writing, man? Because I've read a lot of your shit, more than I realized I was subjected to. Once I started going through your list that you sent me, I'm like, yeah, read that. Listen to that. Mr. Creepypasta read that. Yeah, you're good. So how did you get into this, man?
Screen printing T-shirts.
Expand?
Yeah.
Once again, I'm a trifle deaf. Excuse me?
Screen printing T-shirts is how you got into writing, and you met your wife on a YouTube comment. What the fuck is your life?
What is your life?
This is all after dropping out of 4 different colleges. Okay, so
congratulations.
Moving forward, I had previously dropped out of 4 different colleges: University of Texas, University of Houston, Sam Houston State University, and then University of Texas a second time, just for giggles, I guess.
Well, those are all in Texas, so I get that.
Yeah. So I ended up living in Austin, so I decided, I really like designing T-shirts. I'll start my own clothing label. So I did that, and one of the things that I wanted to do was tie in like a little 200-word short story with each of the T-shirts that kind of went along with the design. Mm-hmm. And I'd write these things, and I'd be frustrated because I didn't know if I was writing how you were supposed to be writing. So what I did was I went out, I Googled first. I was like, okay, how do you write a book, or how do you write a short story? Because I had no idea.
I've done that too. Trust me.
Right. So I find out about this book called On Writing by Stephen King. So I go to Half Price Books in Austin. I pick up On Writing. I read the whole thing. And then, right after I read that book, I wrote my first novel. It's terrible. It's probably never going to come out, but it was based on one of the T-shirts. And I try to include the phrase "awful glee," which is the title of that book, in almost every single one of my books. And I wrote that one. Then I wrote a second book right after that called Handbook for a Teenage Antichrist, which is the first of a trilogy, which I haven't written the second to, and I don't want to talk about when I'm ever going to finish those because I'm doing other things right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but another thing that I do off of those T-shirts is on the back hem, like the bottom hem of a T-shirt, you know how it sometimes flips up? Yeah. I had screen printed in there upside down so that whenever it would flip up, it would be right side up. And it said, "Don't forget to dance." So I try to put that phrase at the end of every single one of my books as kind of like a shout out to where it all came from.
That's awesome.
I also subscribe to your newsletter, and you've got that at the bottom
cool.
of your emails, too.
That's exactly,
I was that cool and inventive. I mean, my first book will never see the light of day, and my second book was called A Serial Killer's Guide to Romance, which is not a trilogy, because that would be really strange.
But that's a great title.
Thank you. It's
a great title.
written as an instruction manual on how to find love as a serial killer, and it's gotten pretty cool.
People tend to love that.
Because people are weird. They're weirdo faces. And I'm like, you're all strange for liking this book. But anyways, I don't have a cool origin story like that, and I feel sad.
Well, for the record, every time I read his newsletters, your newsletters, I see that Don't Forget to Dance, I actually have many times broken out in a little bit of a jig.
You don't actually have to. It's not like the rule.
It's suggested, and I choose to take the suggestion. I may or may not have done the Macarena.
He's not going to come and, like, murder you. I mean, I hope.
With a last name like Bloodworth, I don't want to take the fucking chance.
Okay, and for the record, that is my real last name. I get asked a ton if that's like a pen name. It's not. I was born Bloodworth.
Dude, that is a fucking badass last name.
Are you a Marvel character? Do you also have, like, superpowers that we don't know about? Do we need to, like, go on, like, austinnews.com and see if there's, like, a masked vigilante? And be like, I'm the Bloodworth, and I saved the town from hipsters.
Trademark Nerdynomicon.
Yeah, trademark Nerdynomicon.
From southern hipsters, which are worse than northern hipsters because they are southern people. I don't know what the accent
is. You didn't think that one out too well, did you?
No, I liked where it kept. I liked how it kept going, though. I really liked it. Brooke without it is killing.
To the bit. Is the point of the matter.
These T-shirts, though, I'm interested in the T-shirts. Do you still do the clothing line?
No, well, okay. I don't screen print them anymore. I still do T-shirts, but it's like we have a line for the podcast that I'm doing now, the Rover Red Podcast. It's got the 4 little factions of the different regions of Apocalypse that it has their logos on all of them, but I'm not designing T-shirts anymore because screen printing, oh God, it's so miserable. Like, you think it's like, it sounds like fun, but
it does not sound like fun.
It's fun in theory.
No, I had to screen print T-shirts at camp. It is not fun. It is not a fun time. It makes you want to murder people.
Did you have to use the oven thing?
I only did the part where you like put the paint on and then they.
Oh, that's the good part.
There, and I didn't like it
because
I was like, this seems like something a machine should be doing.
And it is a thing a machine should be.
See, that's how that works. And I am not a machine. Clearly.
So imagine running one of those, like, I think the ink has to get up to like 600 sounds high. Probably not 600. It's probably like 400 or 500 degrees to cure so that it's like turns into plastic and it bonds with the fabric. So I'm screen printing out of pretty much a 1-room apartment in Austin in the middle of summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That just seems like an elaborate suicide attempt.
So leaving that behind for writing was really not that hard because
that's all I had to do was attempt.
Yeah.
Well, are any of these shirts still out there in the Aether? Do you still have like boxes of them in your closet? Do you give them away for Christmas? Yes, I want
to buy one.
They're all gone. Like I have one of the Awful Glee shirts and then one of the self-made. Because the brand was originally called Dropout Society, and then
you can be in that society.
Go to hell, baby.
then the brand changed over to Self-Made, and the second T-shirt says Self-Made, and I don't think I have any other T-shirts at all in existence.
Oh,
those are gonna be worth like millions someday.
I have no doubt.
People are gonna like fight for those. They're gonna be like on eBay and then sold at like Christie's auction house.
Yeah, if he had like a decent amount of those, I'd be like, hey, can I get a T-shirt? I wouldn't know whether to wear it or frame it. Hey, throw a signature on there because.
No, that's gonna be worth money.
Yeah, without a question.
Well, one of the other things with the story was I wanted to screen print like on the inside upside down again, so you could flip it up and show other people. Was like a little. I don't know what they're called. Like the outline of, you saw them in Victorian era. It'd be like the outline
silhouettes?
of it. Yes, thank you. A silhouette of like a little boy or a little girl's head, and then a little thought bubble going up, and then the whole story of the T-shirt on the inside just for that person to have.
That's cool.
That is so brilliant.
But then
God, that's awesome.
Screen printing's miserable, so
and it didn't work out. That didn't work. That was a plan that failed, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, at the same time, it's still such a cool idea.
No,
maybe it's something you should revisit later on. Just pay someone else to do the screen printing.
This man is clearly a superhero because his brain works differently than mine.
His brain works differently than anyone else I've ever met, and that includes Hobart. So you've started writing.
Yeah, you've started writing.
Yes.
You've got the handbook out. At what point does YouTube come into play here? I'm assuming somebody picked up one of your stories for narration.
Yeah, there's... I think the very first story that got picked up was the one that got away, and that story was read by... Oh, God, I'm going to screw up his name because I'm so bad with names. Cry Reads? He was like a Tumblr guy, or still is a Tumblr. He was like, I guess he was a really huge guy before Mr. Creepypasta was. And that one got read. And then after I finished that whole series, the Bloodworth series, I moved to California for a couple months and lived on the side of a mountain and wrote Boothworld Industries. And then that's where things really started kicking up because it had a phone number and it had an interactive element that like you could actually call, and occasionally I would call back or I would pick up, and like the whole point was to make it so everyone had a different story about calling this number. That's and so cool. Like if they called once and I picked up and they called back, I would never pick it up again. That way, like, because they're like calling, they're laughing, they're like, oh my God, someone picked up, and then they hang up and then they call back, and none of their friends ever believe them that it actually happened because they can't get it to happen. Yeah.
And this is the creation of an actual creepypasta. This is amazing.
Like I can't even I would never have thought. First and foremost, I don't like talking on the phone because people scare me. So I would never do this. Like, people would pick up and I'd be like, why are you calling me? Leave me alone. But that's brilliant. Like, I've never thought that.
Absolutely brilliant.
I mean,
you're leaving me flabbergasted with some of the ideas that you're coming up with.
I thought I was a creative person, and I'm just like, well, I guess it's time to go become an accountant.
Well, I think the thing that I'm always trying to do is to have something more than what... like to offer something more than what the person going into whatever I'm making is expecting. To basically underpromise and overdeliver like tenfold if I can.
Right. And that's how you end up with a good name too.
Right.
That's why people start following you. That's why people start getting addicted to what you do. It's like, what is this motherfucker going to do next?
Yep. Yeah. I don't like when people follow me. Freaks me out. I'm like, why are you following me, stranger? Why are you following me, stranger?
I never should have subjected you to the smiling man. Now you're...
Don't even talk to me about the smiling man. I saw a dude the other day. He wasn't smiling or walking towards me, and I still thought he was going to try to murder me or whatever happened. He was just a dude, and I was like, oh my God, that dude's going to kill me.
And in actuality, he's just like, no, just buying donuts.
But he probably thought the same thing about me. He's like, why is that blonde chick looking at me like with crazy eyes? And I was like, well, that's just my normal state of being.
Well, some people think that way. I see the crazy eyes, and I asked you to marry me, so...
Oh,
well, that was cheesy.
That's the story of us. I liked it. I liked it.
Well, we can't all meet on YouTube comments, so.
So how did that happen?
Yes, how did that happen?
Okay, so I wrote the Booth World story. It went out into the ether. I wrote 1, 2. I don't know. I can't keep track of what I wrote. I wrote either 3 or 4 follow-ups, and somehow a comment about Booth World ended up on a completely different YouTube video. It wasn't a narration. It was just something else, like mentioning, oh, you should go read Booth World Industries. So my wife at the time finds it, and she goes and she reads it, and then she tracks it down, like the story down, and then she finds out that it's an anagram of my last name, and she rolls over into the Bloodworth stuff, and the way she tells it is she doesn't like horror at all. She doesn't like being scared, but she really, really liked my writing, so she kept reading it. And then she started talking to me on Facebook, and I honestly, whenever she started talking to me, I thought it was like a fangirl thing. I was like, oh God, here we go. And, right? But then she was like, no, like, you write stuff, but you're a person, like, you're cool, we can just talk. And from there, like, she moved. She was in St. Louis at the time, and I was in Texas. And she moved from St. Louis here, and we got married in September of this year, and now we are married.
So what? Did you guys know she moved? Let me see if I'm understanding this. She moved, and you guys just got married?
No.
Like, were you together a while?
We were together a while.
Okay, that makes more sense. I thought it was more like she moved, so I married her.
From the beginning of contact till our marriage was 3 to 4 years.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. That seems crazy.
No, it wasn't. I
thought you were more like she moved, so I rewarded her with marrying her. I mean, moving is such a hassle. I was like, I could put a diamond on it.
I promised I'd marry her if she moved from St. Louis, so I kind of had to once she got
I'm
here.
not a catfish. I decided I need to follow
contractual. Actually, you just gave fangirls everywhere hope. So I thank you for that.
Yeah. Honestly,
that's true.
If you listen to the context of which you just told your story right there, you start out with screen printing, and then you have ended up getting to a phrase where you literally said, a fangirl. Ugh.
Yeah,
you started from screen printing and you got to that point. Dude, that's a success story.
That's
fucking badass, man.
That's a romantic comedy.
That is a story that lives up to the last name Bloodworth.
No, that's a romantic comedy starring the girl who plays Amy Pond doing an American accent and Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
I would watch that movie.
I would watch that movie too.
I would watch that.
I would. So I just cast it. So someone get on writing that. Call Hollywood. I don't know their number, so call them. We'll get it. We'll do it.
Trademark Nerdynomicon. I'm just trademarking everything here. It's all safe.
Okay, so
Chris, we'll hire you for the screenplay. How's that work?
So anyway, so you get to, where you're at and so on and so forth. How did you get RuPaul? I guess is my biggest question. Is like, how did RuPaul come in? Because I love RuPaul. I love the drag race. I love the hair. I love the high heels.
Mm.
I like that RuPaul looks like a Muppet. I'm into it.
RuPaul came in actually through Alex with Paragon Collective because he is I don't know, he's in charge. He owns, I'm not really sure what the phrasing is, but he does, what's the T? That's right? What's the T?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know that he's got signed Ice-T. I know that he has Ice-T signed to his collective.
Okay, well, he also does Ice-T, but I think the RuPaul one is like, what's the tea? Like spilling the tea? I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways,
it's probably called spilling the tea, which is like, it's like a code word for drama. It's called spilling the tea. It's gossiping.
Right. Well, I'm the asshole then.
It's a southern term for like gossiping is you're spilling the tea.
Exactly. Yes. Bingo. So he does that podcast, and he pulled in RuPaul and Michelle Visage. Who else is in there? Misty Pyle.
Oh, I love her. She's so funny.
Yeah, she's actually in. Is it the first one? Yeah, she's in the first one. Yeah, she's in the first one. And then that's how RuPaul got pulled in.
All right, so you've got the. I'm going back to linear storytelling here. So you've got the stories going on YouTube and everything like that. How do you get hooked up with David?
David did one of my stories on the No Sleep podcast. Oh, God, which one was it? It had a Doctor Who reference in it, and I don't even watch Doctor Who, and I called it Doctor Who, and Doctor Who fans were like, his name's not Doctor Who.
His name is not Doctor Who.
I know, see? I don't watch him, because I got corrected a lot about it.
Listen, when you make a mistake in the nerdverse, you better be able to either have a thick skin or you better defend yourself, because Mark Bernardin is a nerd, and he made one Game of Thrones reference wrong, and I swear to God...
Oh my God, the internet crucified him.
They almost murdered him. Like, they hunted him down. It was like, it was not Lysa. It was Lyanna. It's whoa, guys, it's okay. Nerd lives matter.
Lives matter.
So I wrote it was Bye Bye Love. That's the title. Because I wanted to write a semi-horror story that ended with the song to a link to the song Bye Bye Love, like that oldie song, because I really like the song. So I was like, okay, how can I make this kind of sad but a horror story, but also have it really be a link to this song that I like?
Uh-huh.
So I wrote that story, and he put it on the podcast, and that's how that connection was made.
I have a question that I've always wondered about, because I don't write horror that much, so I don't know. How do you get like your stuff to David Cummings or Mr. Creepypasta? Did you just like post it somewhere and they just like contact you, or how does that work?
they've always contacted me. I live under a rock pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really like doing the outreach or working social media or that stuff.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do it because I have to, but like most of the stuff that I do is I just put it out there and then pretty much hope for the best and see what happens from there.
So you just put it out there and then like they called you and were like, I have to have your story, and you were like, that's cool.
Yeah, I know that Spike does it both ways. Like some people contact him.
But where do they post it? I don't understand how that works. I guess I get really confuzzled.
Lots of times, believe it or not, Reddit.
Well, that place is terrifying. That place
if you do it on the No Sleep subreddit, that's where all of my stuff. Actually, you know what? That's where the David Cummings thing came in, which led to the Alex Aldea thing. So yeah, I would say post your shorter stories on.
I don't write horror, so I couldn't do it. But
they've got other ones. I think they have like fantasy ones as well.
They do.
I can't write.
Yeah, there's like a Spell Sleep is another one that's pretty good.
Yeah, you know how much work fantasy takes? I'm lazy. I'm just kidding. I don't write it. I write new urban fiction stuff.
Yeah, you write a lot of suspense.
I write a lot because I live a very suspenseful life.
Not this suspenseful.
Listen, not all of us are Austin superheroes. I was just more curious because I didn't know how it worked. Because I've heard a lot of people who have been, like, I know a lot of people who have been read on No Sleep and Mr. Creepypasta, and I just never asked them how it had happened, because it was just one of those things like, oh, that's cool, and I've moved on. Then I was like, I wonder how that works.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, they've always hit me up. I've never gone to them.
Because I know some people, like, you can submit, and some other people, they'll just, like, call you. Like, another person we had on.
MJ Orts.
Yeah, we had him on. He had always had his stuff just read. They just, like, contacted him, and he was like, because he was a fan, so he was like, yes, you can have my stuff. So I just was curious how it worked. I was like, does, like, Mr. Creepypasta call you? And is like, I don't know how. And you're like, how did you get my number, Mr. Creepypasta? Never call me again, you freak. And, and then he just, like... I'm just curious how it worked. And that's what I would be. I'd be like, how did you get this number? Never call me again. And then I would, like, continue living my life. And then
constantly look over your shoulder at the guy ordering donuts.
He's clearly the smiling guy.
Because he follows you, right?
Happened.
Yeah.
It was just David Cummings trying to get a story off of someone. It's like, I'm very excited. Oh, if you could see me.
So you've got some other projects coming down the pipes.
Yes, tell us about your other stuff.
So many other things. I've got such a backlog of stuff. Like, I have a whole box behind me filled with manuscripts that I haven't put out because I just write and I write and I write, and then eventually, like, you get to that point where you're like, oh, well, now I have to edit all this and put it all out, and it's just depressing because now you're not working on new stuff. You're just editing and doing grunt work.
Editing is the worst part of the universe. Like, if I love the writing, I don't like the editing.
Yeah, same.
I think I'm going to amend the not Ernest Hemingway quote, which is supposed, like, he didn't really say it, but it's always attributed to him, like, write drunk, edit sober.
Yeah.
I'm going to change it to write sober, edit drunk.
Edit drunk, yeah. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
That one can be attributed to me. Hashtag Brooke Heatley Palmer.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you've got a new podcast coming out.
Tell us.
Mm-hmm. It's called Rover Red, Alone in Apocalypse. It's got an actress named Madison Martin, and she's playing two parts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A rover, which is this group that's spread all across the Otherwhere, which is post-apocalyptic world speak for the land, basically. The Otherwhere is whatever you want to term it. But they're spread across the land. She's living in this tiny little compound. She goes out with her brother, and the compound's destroyed, and her brother's taken, and now she's all of a sudden left out in this world that a lot of her elders didn't tell her existed the way that it actually exists.
Mm-hmm.
So the world is actually split up into 4 regions based on the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Cool.
So it's set up in famine, conquest, war, and death. And she's like stuck in between death and famine. And they all have their own little worlds and mottos. So she eventually she gets this device and it implants into her head. So imagine a girl alone in this post-apocalyptic world with GLaDOS in her ear talking to her.
That's awesome. Should be a TV show or a video game.
Right.
Oh my
so she's trying to find her brother while GLaDOS is like mocking her, sometimes helping her, sometimes not helping her, and it's managed to get itself implanted into her ear so she can't even remove it if she wanted to.
That's awesome. I want to like live that, watch that, be that, read it.
Oh my god. And here's the coolest thing.
I don't know.
Here's the coolest thing. If I understand what you were telling me correctly, it's an interactive podcast.
Yeah. So like
I've never even heard of this being done before.
Right. So it's that whole under promise over deliver thing again.
Like, how do you have an interactive podcast? That's like...
Okay, so here's how this is theoretically going to work. What happens is there's going to be 5 episodes to begin with that pretty much set up the world so the listeners like know most of what they're dealing with, not everything, because it's stuck in a tiny little area, right, to begin with. And what they're going to be able to do is on the website, which is, quick plug here, roverredpodcast.com, there is a suggestion page where they can suggest things for the upcoming ballot that'll be done because the main episodes come out every 2 weeks. So they'll be able to submit suggestions that will be able to be voted on by all the listenership. And whichever thing gets voted on, that's what the main character Leia is going to do.
Cool. That's so cool.
Or fuck, man.
Or not do.
Exactly.
Whoa.
So the actress is really attached to her character. She's like, but what if they send her away from what she's supposed to be doing? And I'm like,
sucks to be you.
Sucks to be them.
Then guess what? We got a second season guaranteed now, don't we?
Exactly.
How many? Is it just the one actress, or is there like other actors?
It's the one actress, and then there's so the main episodes will be free every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be, on those off weeks, there'll be additional episodes every other week on the off weeks with myself and the GLaDOS person talking to each other, because there's a whole...
In character?
Yes, in character.
That's
there's a whole
cool.
struggle going on, because the GLaDOS type character, her name's Evie, but Evie's basically... She's owned by, or she was created by the Rover Fortress, and she's kind of playing both sides because she has to, and the main character, Leia, doesn't really know that. So it's telling the other side of the story of what's happening on this other side. And that one will eventually roll over into Patreon, and it'll be its own little story that'll intersect with the main story, but also won't take away. So it's not like we're handicapping the main story, because I can't do that. Like,
right.
Some people are poor and they can't afford stuff.
Exactly. So
entertainment should never, unless it's HBO, entertainment should not ever have to be paid for.
I agree with that completely.
Unless it's HBO.
I'm all for donations and everything.
Oh, no, I know that.
Quick plug, patreon.com/artfulgremlins if you want to support us. But
we need food.
We constantly bring the free, and I never want to go into a buyer-only market with what we do.
I don't either. I think, because this is podcasting.
Exactly. It should be enjoyed by the masses.
And like I said, it's not Game of Thrones.
Right.
Game of Thrones, all the money.
They're going to need it.
All the money.
England doesn't have any money anymore. They're going to need as much money as they can get.
Goddamn Brexit.
Do y'all know when the new book's coming out by any chance?
No, I don't know George R. R. Martin, so I don't know.
Okay. He declined to come on the show.
He said no, you crazy humans.
Dang it.
Actually, no response. I have emailed him.
No, you haven't. Shut up.
Yes, I have emailed him.
I would not interview that man. He is crazy.
That's why I emailed him.
He looks like Santa's demonic Jersey cousin.
But he's got the hat, man. Yeah, the hat. The hat makes it.
That doesn't make it better. Although it
makes it all the more better.
I like how he's tricked everyone into thinking it's like this really sexist show, and then he's like, bitches, all that's left is women, because men can't figure this shit out. And I'm like, well played, George R. R. Martin.
It's true.
Well played, sir. Not that that has anything to do with this, but you can edit this part out.
I realize Evie is not, in fact, Gladys, but...
That's so brilliant.
Is there going to be cake? I'm sorry, I have to ask. Will there be cake?
The cake is a lie.
There better be now. Now that you're asking, I gotta figure out a way to put cake in. Like, there are some...
He could put in cupcakes.
There are some wall-breaking things in there. Like, Evie talks... There's no... Our technology doesn't exist in this place, but Evie just throws this comment away. She's like, yeah, or like a device in your pocket that you could listen to audio dramas to.
Nice.
So like this, yeah. So I think I can figure out a way to work in cake.
I love this.
You could make him cupcakes, and then it could be like Winky, like, cupcakes, what? I mean, you seem like a very winky kind of guy, like emoji, heart
Yeah.
emoji. Like when I think of you, because I think of heart emoji.
Gotcha.
Winky heart emoji. That's totally at the end. It's gonna be like winky heart emoji. And you'll be like,
oh my god, I love this.
So.
I love this, man. This is absolutely brilliant. So you're gonna have the main story going forward, and you're also gonna have in the off weeks you're gonna have like little almost like behind the scenes sub episodes that kind of expand on the lore, expand on the story, and kind of fill those listeners in on that much more of what's going on.
Yes. It'll be a whole separate storyline.
So you want to just call in this whole podcasting thing since we're clearly not smart?
I feel like we're in an episode of Portlandia. Like, he is just... Everything that can be done with podcasting has officially been done. Let's close the website.
I feel like we're in that episode of Portlandia where it's like everything that has been said in podcasting has officially been said. Good job, guys. Let's close the magazine.
Shut it down, Pookie.
Shut it down. Shut it down. But no, you need us to interview. Yes. That can be our niche. We can be interviewers. Yes. We can be interviewers who talk more about themselves. Winky heart emoji.
Hey, right now we're at about 3366, Christopher.
But listen, I just really like myself, so... I like to talk about myself.
Yeah, I suck. All right, I know me. So well, that's absolutely awesome with this podcast, though. When does this come out for our listeners?
November 30th is when the first 2 main episodes will drop, and then the 2 little. So you'll basically get 4 episodes on November 30th.
Pardon me.
I'm just taking a look at the date right now. Yeah, your podcast has already dropped. As far as our schedule goes.
Oh, yeah, it will have when this goes
check
viral.
This out. I'm assuming you're in all the platforms, right? Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher.
Yes.
Name one more time. Rover Red?
Rover Red, Alone in Apocalypse. But if you search Rover Red, you'll find it.
We're actually in the future right now. You didn't know that. How was your Thanksgiving? Mine was great. Thanks.
Mine was fantastic. Thanks.
I'm no longer sick.
I ate way too much turkey, and you're sick again.
Damn it. That damn... outbreak monkey, I call a child.
All right, so you've got the podcast that broke the internet and my brain. Any other major projects coming up that we should know about here?
In December, there will be a book coming out.
He's also going to make clothing out of drapes for the Von Trapp children as well.
It's called Dear Mother, Conversations with a Serial Killer. Will be coming out
nice
in December for your Christmas time reading.
Oh,
I wrote a Serial Killer's Guide to Romance around Christmas time.
Stocking stuffers. I love this.
Right?
Oh my god, this is absolutely incredible, man.
That one's all... Oh, what's up?
Are you doing Rover Red by yourself? Is it with the Paragon Collective? I mean, who's helping you out with this?
Me.
This is a Bloodworth original.
Yeah. It's myself and Madison Martin. She's probably the best actress in the world because you give her the script and she just, like, even if I don't say explicitly, hey, you need to sound sad here, or hey, you need to like really pump this up. Like, she reads into the character super, super well and just kills it with everything she does. So she's the other one working on it with me.
Is she also an Austin superhero? Because Madison Martin sounds like,
it's got that alliteration thing.
Sounds like she should be hanging out.
Yeah,
with,
isn't it? Like, it's a great name.
Deadpool, whose name is totally escaping me because of the drugs.
Wade Wilson.
Thank you. Wade Wilson and Steve Rogers and Madison Martin. It works. So I think she's also a superhero.
I had a question for y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
in a previous podcast, and
Yes.
okay, let me preface this real quick with I'm not super entrenched in comic book land, so
Okay.
let me just get that out there first. Okay, so a lot of the comics that I like and enjoy are from Image.
Mhm.
Y'all vaguely mentioned that Image is like the hipster comic. Did I get that right or did I get that wrong? Am I a comic hipster?
I have
Check
been
yes, check no.
called a hipster, a comic hipster.
I like Image.
Honestly, Image, if you look at the rack over there, most of the books over there are from
see
Image.
us?
Yeah, the camera's on, right?
I don't think it is.
No,
Oh,
I've
shit.
just seen you doing this.
Oh,
You've been doing this the whole
I
time.
look
It's been-
terrible because I'm sick. If I had known, I would have put on like hair and makeup. I would have like put on a dress. I didn't realize I would have looked way hotter for this interview. I look terrible right now.
well, behind us is a bookshelf, and as far as Image books go, let's see, I have Nailbiter,
Love
Saga,
Nailbiter. Love it.
Bone, Spawn, Outcast, Walking Dead, Ghosted.
East
This
of
is the
West.
part of the podcast where Robbie will show off. Continue.
Yeah, I'm not trying to show off. I'm just basically listing if Image is the hipster company, which, to be honest with you, I think is actually fairly accurate
Yeah.
to a
Okay.
degree.
Yes.
Color me hipster, despite the fact that I hate hipsters.
No one hates hipsters. We are all hipsters. in
Yeah,
our
that's
mind.
true. That's true. But the vast majority of my comics are from Image because, in my opinion, they push the envelope. They're creator-owned. I love the philosophy of that company. The stuff that they were able to do when the Inception came out in the early 90s, from the Savage Dragon to Wildcats and Spawn, all the way up to the new waves with Saga, The Walking
Saga,
Dead.
the greatest comic book besides Nailbiter of all
I
time.
have them all
Nailbiter.
downloaded onto my phone. I haven't actually read Saga yet.
Well, I started reading Saga because I was pregnant and there was a baby on the cover, and I was like, woohoo, a comic about a baby. And then it turned out to be the greatest comic of all time, and I was like,
Yeah.
well played, Image.
Yep, written by Brian K. Vaughan.
Who's amazing.
He's
Amazing.
among the best writers in comics.
But I was like, aha, baby, because, that's what pregnant women think about, I guess. It's like, babies!
Have y'all read any of the Black Monday Murders?
Black Monday Murders is on my list to pick up, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Never
it's
heard of
really
it.
good. It's Hickman. It's John Hickman who does East of West
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
Manhattan
yeah.
Project. Yeah,
East of West is fantastic.
What an awesome
Yeah.
name, East of West. Like, what a brilliant,
Yeah,
what a great name.
they're really good over there at Image. I mean,
You should lick them.
collectively,
Yeah.
you want to lick Robert Kirkman?
Listen, I am on cold medicine, and
You're gonna need a lot more cold medicine if you lick Robert Kirkman.
it seems like-
He made The Walking Dead.
I don't think he is a zombie. I don't
He
think
could
I
be.
don't think he has zombieism. I think he was just writing about zombies.
He also wrote Outcast. That has to do with demons.
What do you, does he,
Did y'all-
does he
have
watch
y'all watched that
Pacific
show?
Parade?
Yes,
Is it good?
it's fantastic.
I like.
I only
Abs-
watched the pilot. I haven't watched any of the other episodes.
I like the actor Patrick Fugit. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors. I love him.
Yeah.
He was
from
in
Almost
Almost
Famous.
Famous, and he was amazing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, I really liked the pilot. I thought it went hard, but I was really nervous for its staying power.
Okay.
Finished out the season. The entire season went hard. This is almost like a reverse Walking Dead for me because I love the Walking Dead comics more than I love the show. Outcast, I love the show more than the comics.
Wow.
The show is absolutely brilliantly done. Cinemax did a great job with it. So,
go
I'm
ahead,
gonna have to give the
Cinemax.
rest of it a shot.
yeah, for sure, man.
So what's going on with all your other what's going on with all your other projects? I mean, like second seasons, first seasons, fifth seasons. What's going on? What's your plan? What's going on?
For Darkest Night, we're not sure on second season yet.
How can you not be? The subscriber count is insane.
Well, I mean, he does have RuPaul, and RuPaul might be busy.
That's true.
Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on second season for that, I don't have any answer on that.
Okay. How
Uh,
long
He gave
is
us
the
a sig-
season?
He gave us a significant look, viewers. So,
How long is the
there's-
season
there's-
supposed to be?
10 episodes.
10 episodes?
Yeah.
Alright. I figured it was somewhere between 10 and 13. That's what most of these types of podcasts are, from Black Tapes to Tannis and everything like that.
Mhm.
All right. So we've got that going on.
So yeah, we're not sure on second season yet, but
okay.
Looking good.
That's good. Well, he's busy. He has 1,000 other things to do. Like I said, on top of writing a book and a second podcast, he's making clothes for the Von Trapp children.
Falling in love on YouTube.
Escaping Nazis. I mean, he's being the superhero of Austin. He's very busy. He's saving hipsters from themselves. He's very busy.
I think you just came up with the title to this episode. Saving hipsters from themselves.
Well, they need like it with their crazy mustaches and their small hats.
She's good at the titles.
She is.
I am good at that's one thing I'm good at is titles and concepts. It's not everything else I'm bad
at. Last question about Rover Red, and then we'll start wrapping things up here.
Really?
Cool.
Any plans on a clothing line, perhaps silkscreen shirts?
No.
To go in conjunction with Rover Red?
He will not make t-shirts. He said that. Crazy bastard.
He can sub them out.
There's already a t-shirt shop open.
Oh, look at that.
Look at who was wrong. Me. I admit it. Okay.
That's a good project.
I can't help myself. Like, God, sometimes I wish like I could reel it back a little bit and do less, but every time that happens, I'm like, no, you need to do more. No, it's not enough. It's not good enough yet. It's not good enough yet.
Well,
do
and
more.
that's why you're a genius who will be put up in like next to like Stephen King someday, and we're the jackasses, so they'll be like using snippets of this interview in your like biography. When they make the documentary, like Hero of Austin, it'll just be like little snippets of this, but they won't remember us. And then we'll be the old people doing the talking heads, be like, I remember when I interviewed him.
You see, Christopher Bloodworth is like a metaphor for America.
I don't know why we got accents, because we're from New York.
I like that.
But when you
like
become
that.
an
The
old
Frank
person.
Underwood. That was the Frank Underwood right there.
Yes, it was.
Be like, I remember that interview. We talked about nonsense and shenanigans. And it'll be like Brooke and Robbie Palmer, insane people. I'm like... But when
sanity cannot be confirmed.
Like when he has a biography called Bloodworth, Hero of Austin, we will not have a biography called Palmer and Palmer. I don't know what it would be called.
They're two of a kind.
It's that title thing again. I like it.
So that's, we're going to have that cool documentary in a few years. Maybe our son will make it, and
it's possible. Cool. I don't think I've brought this up on the show yet, but just a little bit of horror news. Remake City coming, man. Remake City. An American Werewolf in London is getting remade.
What does that have to do with it?
What?
Well,
really?
You're talking about Sons and everything like that. American Werewolf in London is getting remade. I was not happy about it until I found out.
You did bring this up last episode.
I don't think I said it on air.
Well, you said it to me, and I heard it with my ears.
Well, the person making it is Max Landis.
Oh.
As an homage to his father, Max is remaking an American Werewolf in London.
That's nice. That'd be like if Wes Craven's kid made a new Freddy.
He did Channel Zero, right? Or Channel 33, Channel
Zero on Sci-Fi?
Yeah, he did Channel Zero, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay. And then Chronicle, and then what? A whole bunch of other stuff, like 5 billion things.
Some of his stuff less well known, others really good. I mean, I really enjoyed Channel Zero.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't finished. I'm like halfway through.
I really like...
The teeth thing freaks me out.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't that creature look like it's straight out of Silent Hill?
Well, yes, and I do not like it.
In the best way.
Listen,
in the best way.
I could watch Channel Zero, or I could watch 30 Rock for the thousandth time, and I'm going to go with that because I enjoy the adventures of Liz Lemon.
I get that. And Alec Baldwin is a treasure. That sounded sarcastic. I don't mean it to be sarcastic.
It sounded a little sarcastic, but
our guest
but
here,
I'm convinced.
he's also a treasure. He's a podcasting treasure.
It's true, man. It's true. So for our listeners, where can they find you? Where can they find your projects?
I am bloodworth.com, roverredpodcast.com, and if you just look up Christopher Bloodworth, it's not a common name. You'll find me.
I think when there are real fangirls, they should call themselves Bloodworthy, just because I think that'd be clever.
See, they usually call themselves Straw Gang right now.
They should call themselves Bloodworthy because it's better.
Yeah, it is better.
So the fact that no one got on that makes me very depressed. So if you're a fan of his, you're Bloodworthy.
That's so perfect too.
It really is.
Yeah.
Bloodworthy. Are you Bloodworthy?
Are you Bloodworthy?
Okay.
Question mark. Yeah.
And here I am with the last name Palmer. He gets something that just screams awesome with his fans being called Bloodworthy. My fans, what are they? They got palmed? What
no.
the hell?
A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of tea, you get a Palmer. Hello? We are literally our Arnold Palmers.
Oh, man.
And they're delicious.
You schooled me again.
Delicious.
You schooled me again.
But seriously, like, that's you could ask. They could make t-shirts saying, like, are you Bloodworthy? And you could wear them to, like, your Comic-Con. We'll call it Bloodworth.
I would totally sport one of those.
I would too.
Non-ironically, I would sport with one of those.
Yeah, so I did all that. I'm a genius.
I just wrote it down.
I'm like Kanye. I'm a genius.
Perfect.
I'm a fix wolves, literally.
Just don't drop the mic, all right? They're expensive.
I know how poor we are. I know we can't drop these mics. I saw our bank account. Please pay for our Patreon.
All right, guys. So I think that's going to take us.
I think that ends it. I think that's a great place to end it.
Drop the mic with Bloodworthy. I love it.
I feel like I am Bloodworthy now. Are you Bloodworthy?
I am indeed Bloodworthy. You can find both Brooke and I at Artful Gremlins on both Twitter and Instagram. You can find us patreon.com/Artful Gremlins if you guys want to support us. Otherwise, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere that you find podcasts. And if you like us enough, please don't hesitate to, rate us. We love 5 stars.
I do. I like when people give me 5 stars.
Yep.
When
And
they
give
don't
us a
give me
comment.
5 stars, I cry.
More thing for all of your listeners.
Yes.
George R.R. Martin, Nerdynomicon. Let's make it happen.
Yeah!
There it is.
Yay, that would be awesome.
And that's the shot heard round the world. Right there.
Yay,
Right there.
thank you.
From New York to New Jersey.
Also, from New York to New Jersey, yes. And all the way. And also hashtag flowers for Adrian. If anyone sees him, please call us.
All right, guys. Until next week, I've been Robbie.
I've been Brooke without the E.
Christopher Bloodworth.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's close the book on this week.
Ciao.